Hi, this is LGBTQ&A, where we get to know different members of the LGBTQ community. I'm Jeffrey Masters, and today I'm talking to the most popular celebrity blogger in the world, Perez Hilton. Stay tuned. Hi, how are you?
I'm happy to be back in Los Angeles,
Okay.
following the holidays and in a routine, and thus far succeeding with my New Year's resolution.
What were they?
I mainly had one, which is to be more efficient in everything I do.
Okay.
So, I'm a dad of two and really busy with a ton of different work things and not sleeping that much. So I just wanted to see how I could improve or change things to have more time in my day.
Yeah, what are you starting with?
The main change I've made is starting with social media and being a lot more efficient with social media. I mean, it might sound really boring to people. Like I could go into the minutia of it, but it's part of my job, and
It's very much like essential, but do you do all your tweets, all your Instagrams? Is that you?
I do all of my personal Twitter, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And I do all of my personal Facebook page, and then the brand has their own Twitter and their own Facebook. But I also do the fashion Instagram and my own personal Instagram and the hot dudes Instagram. So I spend a lot of time on social media, and I enjoy it for the most part, but I just want to find ways to be quicker at it, be better, be smarter. Even just a simple thing of, usually I used to check Instagram at certain points throughout the day. Changing when I check it first has made it a lot better for me. It sounds so boring. That's why I didn't want to go into the minutia.
Sorry.
I don't care. I don't mind going into it. I'll get super my specific. I used to not check it first thing in the morning. Now, literally, it's the first thing I do. I'll check Instagram because then I feel like I'm not behind the whole day, and I can then sporadically check in, and I don't spend that much time concentrated at once on Instagram. Whatever.
I think that we're at a disadvantage because we need these things for work.
Yeah.
I log into Facebook to check who knows somebody for a connection, and then I just end up checking my own Facebook.
Yes.
So I wish I didn't.
Well,
have
I
that
like
stuff.
it because I want to know what my friends are talking about. So I probably spend the most amount of time on, Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, fascinating. Wait, going back.
But not even just that, like even more efficient at the gym, more efficient with everything.
Yeah.
Like I was pushing myself to have a more efficient workout today.
You feel good about it?
I do. Well, it also helped that I got 8 hours of sleep last night. That was good. It's definitely the beginning of the year.
Oh my God, for a single dad, that's very impressive.
I know. I made a point. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I felt great.
That's funny. So the majority of your time is now spent, it sounds like social media and not writing for the site specifically.
Everything, social media, and then I have a podcast myself that I do, and so it's not just the podcast. Then it's the podcast, and then promoting the podcast.
Yeah, we're competition.
I don't think I'm in competition with that. Well, not really, because we don't do the same thing. Like I don't have guests on my podcast.
I saw that.
I don't want guests on my podcast because I don't want to talk to people that I'm not interested in speaking with. And a lot of the time when you have a podcast, you often will just book whomever has something to promote. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people in general. Like, oh, that person's got this housewife, they're coming back. So she wants to know if she can come on. I'm like, I don't want to interview a housewife. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's a really funny dynamic with you guys, just like the game straight. And
I think
the
that's what
common
I wanted to call it that originally, but it was named by somebody, not me. It's called the Perez Hilton Podcast.
Yeah.
Very clever. So yeah, if you guys want to listen to me as well, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, and directly at play.it/Perez.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of your name, what should I call you?
You can call me Perez.
Perez, not Mario? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What do your friends call you?
It depends on who.
Yeah. Do you find that people have a hard time separating out that Perez Hilton is a part of you, but it's also a character?
I think as the years have gone on, I've tried to make him less of a character and more of just an extension of me. But for a while there, he was definitely a character.
Yeah.
Quite the character.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that like here you are now, a business owner, a father too, and like looking back at the person's blog I used to read in college who had pink hair and like would draw penises on faces.
I know.
You've gone through like quite a lot of transformations.
And hopefully I'll go through more too, because that's what life's all about. I mean, we're constantly changing. Every day we're lucky enough to be alive. We're different from the day before molecularly, and hopefully everything around us is different. Not like completely different, because human beings are creatures of habit and stability is a great thing. Routine is an awesome thing, but it's always good to shake up your routine and do new things and different things. Like I was just saying this to my trainer at the gym this week after not working out for a week and a half. I said, I don't have any goals for this year, but I have a lot of dreams. Because I don't want to set a goal and then not reach the goal. But it's still good to dream big, even if you are happy with your life and have been around a long time and done many things. Yeah, I've done a lot and I'm so grateful, but there's still a lot more I'd love to do.
Do you find though if it's not a goal without like a ending like date, then you like work as hard for it though?
I mean, I'm the hardest working person I know. I work really hard at everything I do. So in addition to being efficient, I'm also like, I wouldn't say I'm OCD. I'm not OCD because that's like a real thing. And it's an awful thing. Like, oh, you can't walk on that, or you count that and this, that. But I definitely have obsessive thinking, which I think is a real thing too. Like sometimes I just can't stop thinking about things. So I'm really good about, okay, I need to make sure I need to do that. So I thankfully have an assistant. If not, my life would probably be like every 5 minutes I'd get like a pop-up reminder about something. But thankfully I don't have to do that. I just send it to my assistant and say, on January 3rd, I want you to remind me about this. On January 4th, I want you to remind me about this. And it's just things like, I want to set up a meeting with that person, or see if I know anybody who knows anybody who has an in at that place. Because, it's not just also about specifics, it's about continuing to work it, as they say. So, this year I want to try to get meetings with people and let people know I'm interested in doing a variety of different things and see what comes of those.
Yeah. Oh, at what point after you created the blog and it was successful and you're making money off of it, did you realize like, oh, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life, I imagine?
Probably from the beginning.
Really?
Like I would still do what I do, even if I wasn't making money from it. But I would say the real turning point for me when it became bigger than me was in 2007, when I was able to hire my mom and my sister to work with me. And that also just added a lot of pressure and responsibility. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I've got them that I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
But I needed help. And my sister was a huge help from the beginning. And my mom is my mom. And I love that I'm able to support her and treat her like the queen that she is.
Okay. Well, I just find it so fascinating that like the blog, it grew and grew and grew, became this massive success, but anybody can start a blog. Literally anybody can like create a blog and start writing. But like from a business standpoint, did you have any like framework or prior experience to grow
I still
it?
don't. I wish I did, to be honest. It would be nice to have, or maybe not me, but I wish I had somebody that could do that for me. I've kind of just been a go with the flow type of guy.
Was it just trial and error?
I went to school for drama, but I've always been really good about just listening to my gut and my instincts, which Oprah would say is like listening just to the universe, right? When you listen, you're steered in the right direction. So I've always been good about listening and being in touch with it, whatever that is. So I'm not a business person, but I've got business instincts. And I think that's good, because I don't overthink things. I'm not run by analytics. I go with whatever feels right.
Yeah, so most, I feel like, competitors or similar sites, they have venture capitals, they're part of a larger umbrella site. And I think it's so fascinating that you were doing it all on your own.
I mean, I was one of, if not, I wouldn't say I was the first. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I was around before there was a TMZ, and it was a much less crowded space. So the fact that I was, as some people would say, an innovator, helped because it allowed me the opportunity to get a lot of attention really quickly, fairly easily. I mean, maybe not easily, I don't know. It just kind of all happened real quick.
Yeah.
I started blogging in September of 2004, which in internet terms is like the Paleolithic age. It's forever ago because things online change so often and so quickly. I started blogging in September of 2004, and by February of 2005, less than 6 months later, I was on TV. And I've said this story before. I was approached by The Insider, which is the sister show to Entertainment Tonight, and they said, "Hey, we're doing this segment on Hollywood's most hated websites. And how would you feel being included in that? And how would you feel if we made you number one, the most hated?" And I said, "Well, I don't think I'm the most hated. I think people will enjoy reading my site. But sure, if you're going to put me on TV and name me number one, let's do it. I'd rather be number one than number two."
Yeah.
And then for years afterwards, I had that as my slogan underneath the website, the banner. It would read, PerezHilton.com, Hollywood's most hated website. I think I've always been good about branding and good about working it.
Yeah, I think the branding's apparent because, like, you now have no bylines on the site.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't know better, it looked like it's still you in a cafe.
And from the beginning, I always wanted it to be bigger than me, though. Like, that's why I never wrote my posts in the ever in the first person. It was always we and us. And also, I think that was just a good way to connect with my readers. And I think how I addressed people was different at the time. You know, in 2004, I would say the norm was the people approach. It was all bland and boring and vanilla. And then I came along and I was definitely not bland, boring, or vanilla. And I also spoke to my readers as if they were my friends. And I still do, because they are my friends. And anybody who's still reading my site all these years later, they're special friends.
Yeah.
Because it's a much more crowded space now and people can get the same thing different places. But I think what sets my site apart now is me. Like, I may not be writing every post, but I'm still working my ass off every day and saying we should do this, we should do that, more of this, less of this, get this one up ASAP, and trying to find things and put up pieces of content that you might not find everywhere or that you'll find on my site first.
Because you're a multi-interested person. Mm-hmm. I think that's reflected, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not just interested in celebrity news. Like, I'm also a citizen of this country and the world, and a Latino and a gay man and a parent, and all of those things are organic and real. I was saying this to a friend the other day. I was really bummed. Actually, I think I said it on my podcast. I was like, who did I say that to? I was trying to think. I talked about it on my podcast, whatever. But I'll give you the synopsis. I was bummed looking, and I don't even know why I was looking at her Instagram, but I was looking at Kylie Jenner's Instagram. Actually, let's take a look at it now.
Okay.
It's an experiment. The first things that pop up are bikini photo, bikini photo, bikini photo, bikini photo, bikini photo, glamour, face makeup, best in 9, bikini, fashion, beauty, booty, and so on and so forth. But if you go to my Instagram, I mean, Instagram should be, or it is, whether you overthink it or not, or the whole point of it is to be a reflection of who you are. And that's a reflection of who Kylie Jenner is. Like, there's not much there. And I do say that in a critical way. I'm sad. I'm sad for her. I mean, whatever.
Do you think
what makes her happy? It makes her happy. Good for her. She's got the money. She's all about money and shallow things. Listen, I love money. I want more money. Give me the money. I maybe love money too much. Probably because I don't have fuck you money yet. Like, that's what I'm working towards.
Do you not?
No. I mean, I'm not poor. Thankfully, I've worked hard for the last 13 years and I'm secure, but I still have to work, especially because I have kids. I mean, if I didn't have kids, I probably would have never to work again.
You don't have fuck you money, but do you worry about money?
Yes, that's a daily worry. That's probably the whole children thing. And I worry about things like, what if I die? I need to have enough money. I need to have fucking the money because, like, what if I die? Then I need to make sure that my kids are looked after, and it has to be set up in such a way that my mom or my sister won't have financial burden for the rest of their lives because I chose to have children without a partner. So I think about these things. So anyways, Instagram is a reflection of who you are. And for me, I post all sorts of different things. Like, I think I posted, well, that was a while ago now, but whatever. I'll post things I find shocking, things I find funny, things I find inspiring, things I find sexy, things of my own life and my kids, like whatever. That's just who I am.
Yeah. And it shows like a complete person. I just wonder if that is because, like, no offense, but you are older than Kylie Jenner. And if, like, you...
But then I thought about that myself,
Yeah.
and I was like, what would 19-year-old Perez have posted? And I can put myself in that place, and it would not have been the kind of content that Kylie Jenner puts up. 19-year-old Perez probably would have posted, let me see, what year was that? I was 18 in 96. It was 97. So I would have posted a ton of stuff from Madonna's Ray of Light album. It would have basically been a Madonna fan page, my Instagram, if it was around in 97. And I would have posted a ton of stuff from New York City because that was my first year in New York. So it would have also been this, like, awakening for me. I would have posted my first time at this amazing place, at the Met, at the museum, going to see play. I would have posted a shit ton about Rent because that year I saw Rent my freshman year at NYU 6 times. Hedwig, the following year I saw 8 times, but I saw Rent 6 times. I would camp out. I would have posted photos of me camping out and the people that I met. And things like that. I think so. That's who I am. Like, I love theater. I love the arts. I love music. I love my divas, and that's whom I would have been. And, you know, whatever. I'm not saying that I'm better than her. I'm just saying I feel sad for her. But no, because I don't know. She's probably enjoying her life. Maybe I don't feel sad for her. Good on her, I guess. I don't know. I feel sad more so for all these young girls that idolize her.
And I think that's a thing too. Like, I used to be so, I don't not idolize her, but I used to be so careful when I posted on Twitter how to be like a perfectly crafted joke and great grammar and how to be funny. And now, like, I don't care as much. So I just see a very curated person who, like, cares what you think, a lot of it because it's the business. I'm just kind of amazed that we have not overdosed on the Kardashian-Jenner family. Just there's so many of them, and it's so ubiquitous.
And it's been going on for so long. And that's what I think made me sour on them, right? Like, I've been doing what I do now for over a decade, and I just know the nature of these things. We are not meant to be this interested in any one or group of people for so long. Like, look at Brad and Angelina. Sure, in 2016, we were very interested in them because their marriage broke up after 10 plus years being together. But when I first started in 2004, it was all about Brad and Angelina. And there was a real intensity of the coverage and about them. And that probably lasted for a few years, but it didn't last for 10 years. And the Kardashians have been around basically for 10 years now. They started, I think, in 2007 or 2008. And there's been just that much interest and attention in them since then. And it's like, enough. Like, give me a break and give me something else. Give me other people.
But I don't hear other people saying that about them. So I'm kind of amazed why.
I mean, I think a lot of people are over them. I think it's the media that probably is still sticking to it. But on my site, I still cover them, of course, because I have to. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have to, but I do, and whatever. For me, Trump is the new Kardashian. That's my motto. Trump and his kids and that whole wacky world.
You're saying you want to like make him like that much interest in his family?
Yes,
Oh, why is that?
because I'm that interested, and I think that others are as well. And I think it's a real life soap opera, and he's an entertainment personality.
I think there's a lot that we don't know to be found out.
Yeah, and there's a lot happening every day. I mean, he needs to tweet every bowel movement. Like, he's tweeted so many times today. And then by comparison, I went and checked how often Barack Obama would tweet. Not that often.
And not with the same content. That is an interesting observation, though, that our celebrity culture has moved over into politics. It's become the same thing.
Yeah.
I would say that 10 years ago, you were probably not tweeting about like Chelsea Clinton, were you?
10 years ago, that was 2007.
I guess that was Bush.
Yeah, I wasn't tweeting about Chelsea Clinton then. There was no Twitter in 2007 also. But in 2008, when it was first Hillary with, Barack running as well in the primaries, and Barack, I was very vocal then.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about being your own boss. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And fascinating. I think like on your site too, your summit branding, you like even had inside jokes with your readers. Like, didn't you make up amazeballs?
I don't know if I did. I thought I did.
How about this? You popularized it a lot.
All right, yeah. I thought I did, but this duo may have been doing it before I did, and that often happens too. Like, sometimes people will be doing the same thing around the same time.
Like calculus.
Like, yeah. Is that one of the laws of calculus?
It was like invented like in two separate places around the same time and like on Earth. Although I'm not a math scholar, so don't quote me on that. But are you able to sniff out like a fake news story?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Or not even that. Like today, actually, oh god, I talk about Kylie Jenner, and then I posted her today, but I did it more tongue in ass cheek. So like, this is a photo of her on vacation in Mexico, and that's a clearly staged photo. It's like a fake paparazzi shot, like designed to be taken and released out into the world. Yeah, you can always tell when a story's fake or not, depending on who's reporting it, the details or the lack of details. And you can also tell too, like, clearly, like if two people are involved, like, oh, that person's team spoke and that person's team didn't speak, that kind of stuff.
Does that matter though when you're reporting it because it's going to get picked up?
It everything depends on the story. At the end of the day, it's always about the story, what it is, and not always. I've evolved as the years have gone on. I think you have to. At the beginning, it was really just all about what I found interesting. And now as the years have gone on, I've also expanded that into what my readers have found interesting as well. So I personally can't stand The Bachelor, but my readers, a lot of them love The Bachelor, so we'll cover The Bachelor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you enjoy being a boss?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm a good boss, and I enjoy yeah. There are sometimes certain things I don't enjoy. Like, it's never a pleasant experience to fire anybody, but thankfully I'm not like one of those people that screams or is mean.
Yeah.
I'm fairly easy, very easy.
I think that had you not started out the site being cruel, that people would, I think like it's the American dream. Like, you started out as one person and created this like big legitimate business. And I think like they'd recognize that more. Is that weird to say?
I mean, a lot of things would be different had I started off differently, but I didn't. And I do regret a lot of the things I did in the beginning. And thankfully, I don't do a lot of the things I did in those first few years.
Yeah. And that was all prior to having children, right?
Yeah.
All right. Was that a big decision to say, like, I want to not even just have kids, but have it as a single father?
Was it a big decision? Of course, but it was an easy one because I knew I always wanted to have kids, and I didn't want to wait until I had a partner because I could keep waiting. I'm still single.
Are you?
Yeah, and also I think subconsciously I wanted to have kids on my own, just because I'm very aware of how relationships more often than not don't work out. Statistics show most marriages end in divorce. And I believe for me, that stability and consistency is what's best for kids. And I wouldn't want to have like, oh, okay, you're 4 days here, 3 days there, 4 days here, no. I mean, I want a partner, I want a husband, and I want to make him a part of my life, but with the understanding these are my kids.
Yeah.
And you're invited into my family, but in the future, if it doesn't work out, which I hope it does, and not work out, you're not like adopting them. You're not gonna have custody or anything like that.
Yeah. What do you like look for in a partner?
I think inspiration is the best word. Like I want to be inspired by whom I'm around.
So not necessarily as successful as you, but like inspired by something.
Or maybe even more successful than me. Aspire higher. Or not as successful as me. I don't care. I mean, it depends. Like, if somebody may work as a barista at Starbucks and be very content with their job. I don't know if that would be inspiring to me. I would want somebody who's a little bit more ambitious, like who has dreams, like, oh, I want to create my own production company or whatever it may be. Like, I think the perfect imaginary dream husband would be, like a high school teacher or somebody or a therapist for children or something like that. I don't know. Somebody who is just awesome and a rock and able to give me a chance and look past distractions that may come, like my past or what people say about me in the present.
Oh, because non-famous people have a certain advantage that there's no preconceived notions.
Well, I mean, everybody has their internet footprint, and
yours is very large.
Exactly. So, if I was a normal person, which I am, but if I was an anonymous normal person and I'm going on a date with somebody, I'm totally going to stalk them online and do my research and see everything I could possibly find on their Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and, do my due diligence. But if somebody does that to me, like a lot of crap will come up.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I am okay with that, like, because there is somebody out there for me, I'm hopeful, eventually, at some point before I die, who will be willing to get to know the real me. Because also, everybody, an anonymous citizen or a public figure, all of us, we still have our public persona and our private persona. So you might be Joe Schmo who works in accounting in Cleveland, Ohio, but you're still one way towards the outside world, and you're also probably a different way with your loved ones or with your friends, and it's just how we are as human beings.
Yeah. Yours, and probably people have more of like a black and white difference in yours, or think it's there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, mine is just in front of me, whereas a lot of people's is behind them.
Fascinating.
Hidden.
You mentioned money earlier. Would you require a prenup?
Of course.
Really?
Yeah.
You looked at me like I'm crazy. Is that a dumb question? Is it, like in Hollywood?
I mean, it's not a dumb question, but I love my kids too much to not be smart with what I have.
Oh, because you're like toggling like their inheritance, really, and like money for them.
Yeah, or not even that. Like I'm at the back of my mind is like I could die tomorrow. I think everybody should live that way because it's true. And I'm a single parent, like so I'm like, okay, I could die tomorrow, and I gotta make smart decisions for my children's future.
How often do you think that?
Not every day, but on the regular. So that's like, okay, what can I do this year to like spend less, save more? I am money obsessed. I own up to it. I think you should be until you're at a point when you don't have to be anymore.
Yeah.
I also don't want to have to work, or listen, that's not how I want to say it. I always want to work, but I would love to get to the point in my life if I'm able to, and hopefully I am before I'm like, let's say 60. Like, how would my life change? How would my relationship to work and what I do and how I do and everything, how would it be different if I didn't have to work for a living? Like, how would I allocate my time differently? This, that, and the other. I know for sure one of the things I would change is my relationship with social media. I'd probably still be on there, but I'd be on there a whole hell of a lot less.
Yeah. Where do you want to like take your site / like career?
Well, with the site, I do have a dream. Like I said, I'm a big dreamer. So for the site, my dream, and it's tied to my own personal dream, as it should be because it's got my name on it. My big dream is that a huge corporation, like let's say like a Comcast who owns NBC Universal, they approach me and say, hey, we want to partner with you. We want to buy 49% equity in your site and your brand, and we want to help you grow it and do cool and new and innovative and different things, and help launch TV projects, whether that be an entertainment news show, a talk show, a competition show, a sitcom, whatever. So that's my dream for the website and the business. My dream for me as an individual, I would love to have my own either talk show or sitcom. One of those two I would love. Maybe a sitcom, because it's probably easier.
That you would act in.
Yeah.
Be your
Or
story.
I'd love a talk show too, whatever. I'm not going to complain. But there is something real cush about like doing like an old school, like Will and Grace type sitcom where you only work 4 days a week and you have tons of vacation time. That's real nice. And I'd also love to be in a Broadway musical. So those are all my big dreams. And then personally, I want my kids to be happy and healthy, and I'd love to find a husband.
All right, we're gonna stick that for sale sign on the site.
I mean, I don't need to sell it. I'm gonna keep going even if I don't sell it. But the reason to sell 49% is to be able to do more. Like, I would love it if I had a newsroom, like a proper newsroom, like E! News, with a staff of 40 people or 50 people, so that we could be breaking stories that are exclusive, like, oh, so-and-so, this and that and the other, or paying for information. Like, I would love to pay for information. I would love to pay for exclusive this or that or the other. I can't. I'm still owned individually by myself. I'm not. So that's why I don't even try to compete with any other site. I'm not trying to compete. I can't compete. I'm just being me and doing me and encouraging my staff to tap into that in the best way possible and to offer things to my readers that they can't get anywhere else. And also, I feel like as the years continue to go by, people like I have reached are going to themselves reach a point of just social media fatigue or just fatigue with the internet. And they're still going to want to keep informed. So I think that a site like mine will be even more invaluable because, like, I'm over Twitter, I'm over Facebook, I'm over Instagram, I'm over Snapchat, I'm over Tumblr, I'm over YouTube, or I'm growing up, I don't have time for all these things. Let me just go to one or two places that could digest everything for me or give me the best that I need to get. And I think that we offer that.
And that's kind of where the internet started, right? And then expanded. Do you think it's going to go back to that?
I think so, because I'm at a point now where, like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
But I do it because it's my job. If it wasn't your job, I would imagine people are like, all right, I'm only only, and I think that's kind of what people have started to do. Like, I'm only going to do Instagram, or I'm only going to do Facebook, or whatever it is that may be. And yeah.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. I would say, usually I say, like, do you want to send them to anything? But, like, they know your website. They know how to find you very easily.
My website, I'm the Perez Hilton across social media. I mentioned the podcast, and yeah, I don't know.
Awesome.
That's that.
And if everybody listening wants to download and subscribe ours and tell everyone you know, we'd love that. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.